Hello, today I'm going to be showing you my egg hunt kit that I made for you guys to make your own egg hunts. And before we go any further, I just want to give a shout out for this top bar plus module that I used. I'm going to be leaving this down in the description below for you to check out. It's really cool, really lovely to use. I recommend it. And I also want to give credit to the Egg Hunt 2013 because I used some of Clone Trooper's ideas here to make this work. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm gonna also leave the model in the description below for you guys to use and set up. And when you have everything set up, it should look something like this. So I want to explain some of the features that you'll have in this kit. There's already a data store system here. So every egg that you get is saved and loaded every time you play. So you won't have to keep getting the same eggs over and over again. And there's also an inventory GUI for you to check which eggs do you have, which eggs you don't have yet. And there's also different settings and configurations you can make to modify how an egg spawns, where an egg spawns, how long it takes to spawn an egg, etc. So let's set up how to make an egg first. So if you go to server storage, there should be a folder called eggs, and this is where all the eggs or the actual egg models are. And if you go to replicated storage and client and eggs, there's also a part here which matches the name here, natural egg. So the difference between this is this folder is for the egg parts itself, since we can't really replicate something from the server to the client when we requested through like a remote event or something like that, or a remote function. So we're gonna have to put the actual egg mesh itself in the replicated storage, since this communicates both server client. And we'll have the actual egg model here on the server side in the server storage. And this will also have the egg part here. These two parts are the same, it's just that it's called different. So as you can see in the natural egg sample that I have here, we have 3 objects here, 2 folders and 1 model. We have the locations folder, the values folder, and the egg models. So here, for every egg that you make, you can change the title here or the name here. This is what you name the egg, no spaces. And this is the actual egg model itself. So you have to keep the name egg model, and you have to keep whatever mesh or part you use. Doesn't matter what it looks like, whatever you use, you just keep the name egg. Don't change the name to whatever your egg name is. You change the egg name here, but you don't change it to these 2. So you keep those 2 the same in terms of their name. So for the values, we have 2 values here, max and rarity. Let's ignore rarity for now, since this is something we're going to be implementing in the future when I update this, or if I update this. Well, let's focus on max. So max is an integer value, which basically is a setting for how many of one egg can spawn in the server, meaning to say how many of this one egg that we have here can exist at one time. So let's say if I have the max as 3, that means only 3 maximum can exist in this server. And if there's already 3 eggs, that means it's not going to spawn that egg anymore until someone gets it, and there's 2 or something like that. As long as there's less than 3, it's going to keep spawning. So for every cycle, that is. So here we have the locations folder. So here is where we pick what kind of locations it'll spawn in. But how do we decide specifically which area or region it's going to spawn in? There's a folder here called spawns, and as you can see, there's different parts that correspond with the different names of these values in the location folder of the egg. So let's pretend that these are not here, and let's teach you how to set up the spawn regions. So for example, let's say that I have a map, and in this particular area of the map, I want there to be certain areas where the egg can spawn. So I'm gonna create a part. I'm gonna make it yellow, make it a little bit transparent, and I'm gonna make it cank-light false. You don't really have to make it cank-light false, but I'm just going to. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to just shape up what I want the region to look like. So anything inside of this, like anything inside of this part right here, the egg is going to randomly spawn in that area. So let's see if I move it here, and let's say I want to name it a certain name, so it can, like, it's more organized, so I can find it easier. And let's say this is the park. This area is the park, or maybe this area is like a farm. So I'm gonna name it farm spawn. And because I want to see what it looks like first when we're testing it, I'm just gonna copy this and paste it here in the spawns. And you also have to create a value here that corresponds with the name farm spawn. So what basically happens here is every time it tries to spawn this egg, it's gonna look through this location folder, and it's gonna find any random spawn that corresponds to this, or that has the same name as the parts here or the regions here. And you can there's a settings folder, or well, actually I'll tell you about that later. Let's focus on this for now. So if I press run now, it should spawn the egg right inside this area here. And if I press run again, it should randomly spawn in different areas, as you can see here. So it is randomly spawning in different areas of the part. What if I want to make multiple spawns though in this certain area? I want to make it in the same part of the map, but I want it in different areas. Let's say I want it here as well, and I also want it here. That's fine as well. All you have to do is just copy these two, put it into the spawns folder, and you don't have to make another one of these. You only have to have one of these here for it to count all of these. And what it's gonna do is for every spawn cycle, it's gonna randomly pick one of these and it's spawn the egg there. So if I press run now, you can see this time I picked that area again. Now it went over to this area, and now in this area. So it randomly spawns in all of these regions. You can also have multiple locations for one egg. For example, if I want it in another part of the map, and let's say this part of the map is like a city, so I'm going to name it city spawn. So I'm going to copy this here, put it into spawns, and I'm going to make another value and name it city spawn. And now it should be able to pick between two areas, two different locations. So let's try and find and wait until it spawns in the city spawn, and there we go, it spawns in the city spawn. Earlier it spawned here, and now it spawns here, and if I go again, it might randomly go back and forth. It goes here again. So yeah, that's basically setting up the spawns. So for this, let's go to the settings, to modules and settings. So there's 3 settings right now that you can modify. So spawn time increment is basically like how many, it explains here how long it takes to repeat each egg spawn cycles. For example, right now it's set at 30, and for every 30 seconds eggs will spawn. So you can change that to maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, etc. So max eggs per region, how many of one egg can spawn in the same area. So what this means is, for example, in this area, since the max eggs per region is set to 3, that means only 3 eggs maximum, doesn't matter what egg it is, 3 eggs maximum can spawn in this area. Same for this area, same for this area, same for this area. And the debounce is just cooldown between egg touches, so just you don't really have to touch that. Just leave that as it is. It's just something I put in there. So that's pretty much it basically. You can add as many eggs as you want. Make sure whenever you add a new egg, you have these values in it, locations, values, and the egg model here. Make sure you have these, and make sure if you have for example a new egg, make sure you copy the egg part itself, put it into eggs, and you name it whatever the model here is called, just like that. And if I play the game, let me just reset the data, test 31. So if I play the game, I try to go to the eggs. So as you can see here, there's an inventory button here. I don't have the egg yet, it's grayed out. I can just touch it, I found a natural egg, and I can just check it out here, natural egg. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this, I'll update it in the future. I hope this helps you create your own egg hunt game, even though it's kind of basic and simple. Thank you guys, bye bye.